Hello and welcome kids. Let's start today chapter number 5 of your geography, standard 9, landforms of the earth. What do you mean by landforms? Can we say landform is a natural feature on the earth's surface? Correct. Before we start this chapter, let me tell you one thing. There are two types of forces operating which causes landform. There are some forces operating under the surface of the earth. They are called as endogenic forces. They operate under the surface of the earth. And there are some forces operating on the surface of the earth. They are called as exogenic forces. So endogenic forces basically is internal process. Exogenic forces is external process. Now endogenic forces can be again categorized as diastrophic forces. Again, diastrophic forces can be orogenic, mainly horizontal, and it can be epiorogenic or it can be epiorogenic. It can be orogenic, which is called as mountain building forces, or it can be epiorogenic, which is called as continental building forces. So in this chapter mainly we are going to talk about diastrophic forces. They are the forces operating deep inside the earth. There are two types of diastrophic forces, orogenic and epiorogenic. Orogenic and epiorogenic. These forces are also called as constructive forces because when these forces operate, it leads to formation of new landform. So they are also called as constructive forces. They are also the ones which leads to formation of fold mountain, block mountain, lot of things, rift valley. We are going to talk about all of them. On the other hand, exogenic forces are destructive forces. Usually when these forces operate, they lead to destruction of existing landforms. They lead to destruction of existing landform. We are going to talk about endogenic forces. So now, landforms can be created. Landforms can be created because of two reasons. There are two reasons that can cause landform. The first reason is of course plate tectonic movement. And the second reason is upliftment and submergence. Let's talk about both of them. So plate tectonic. We all know very well our Earth's lithosphere is broken into several plates, tectonic plates. Our Earth's lithosphere is broken into several tectonic plates. Several big tectonic plates or small tectonic plates. Now these all tectonic plates are floating. Where are they floating? If you remember chapter number 4, upper mantle has a layer of asthenosphere. Yes. All these tectonic plates are floating in asthenosphere. All these tectonic plates are floating in asthenosphere, which is a part of upper mantle semi-molten layer. Now this is a horizontal movement. The tectonic plates are floating not vertically, they are floating horizontally. Now when these tectonic plates are floating horizontally, there are chances they might collide or slide past or push each other. These tectonic plates, the ones who are horizontally moving, they might collide or slide past or push each other. Because of which, what will happen between these two tectonic plates? Okay, between these two tectonic plates, suppose this is my tectonic plate, because of which the rock which is above it will start getting compressed. The rock which is above it will start getting compressed. So what will happen is, it will cause this movement when it causes sliding or pushing or colliding, it will disturb the rock above it. It will disturb the rock, sedimentary rock, which is between these tectonic plates. The sedimentary rock which is between this tectonic plate will get disturbed. How will it get disturbed? It will get compressed. Because of which it will form fold. It will form fold. Almost all fold mountains are formed like this process only. These factors are called as orogenic movement. It acts as a tangent to the surface of the earth. It is called as oro. Oro means mountain, genic means building. Mountain building movement. So that was the first reason that led to formation of landforms. Plate tectonic movement. I'll repeat again. Our Earth's lithosphere is made up of several tectonic plates, several big and small tectonic plates. These tectonic plates are floating. Where are they floating? In a semi-molten layer of asthenosphere. Because of this floating movement, because of this, the sedimentary rock between the two tectonic plates, they will get disturbed. Because these tectonic plates can collide or slide past or push each other. So the sedimentary rock between the two tectonic plates will get disturbed. How will it get disturbed? It will get compressed. What will compression lead to? Folding. And this is how fold mountains are formed. These forces act as a tangent to the surface of the earth. On the other hand, we have the second force that is responsible, second type of diastrophic force, epiorogenic. So this is called as orogenic and this is called as epiorogenic. So now, there is one more force operating under the surface of the earth, which is acting along the radius from the earth's center to the surface of the earth, which is acting along the radius from the earth's center to the surface. So let me tell you one thing. Under the surface of the earth, there are large scale upliftment or large scale submergence happening. Large scale upliftment or large scale submergence happening. These are vertical movement. We will talk about them in detail when we do block mountain. These forces, if you remember, I told you for plate tectonic, they act as a tangent to the surface of the earth. But these forces act along the radius from the earth's center to the surface. These were acting only as a tangent, but these forces are vertical forces. They are acting along the radius. They are acting along the radius from earth's surface. Okay. Now these are called as epiorogenic movement. They are called as epiorogenic movement, continent building movement. Also called as continent building movement. Block mountain, rift valley, they are formed by this process. We'll talk about them both in detail. Now, first we are going to talk about mountains. In this chapter, we will be discussing about three different types of landforms: mountains, plateaus, and plains. How will you describe mountain? Can we say a mountain is a very, very steep land? It is a very, very steep land or a hill rising to a great height. A steep land or a hill rising to a great height above the land surrounding it. Above the land surrounding it. We are going to talk about three different types of mountains: fold mountain, block mountain, and mountain of denudation. Excuse me. First, let's talk about fold mountain. Fold mountain are caused, very important to write this word, because of lateral compression. Because of lateral compression. Fold mountains are formed because of lateral compression of Earth's crust. When Earth's crust compresses laterally, it leads to formation of fold mountain. So basically, under the surface of the earth, there are large scale movement happening. Fold mountains are formed because there are large scale movement happening. I just discussed with you the movement of tectonic plate. It is a large scale movement. It is a large scale movement, correct? So there are large scale movement happening, okay, by stress. This horizontal movement is stress. It is causing stress. Okay, what is causing this movement? Why are this movement caused? These tectonic plates are floating. Agreed. Why are they floating? They are floating because of the weight of the overlying rocks. Sometimes they are floating because there is a lot of weight of the overlying rocks. बहुत वजन होता है रॉक्स का, तो उसकी वजह से ये स्ट्रेस आता है अर्थ पे, उसकी वजह से लार्ज स्केल मूवमेंट हो सकता है. Or it can be because there is movement happening in mantle, because tectonic plates तो mantle में ही है, and because there is expansion or contraction of some part of the earth happening. अर्थ के नीचे expansion and contraction में चल रहा होता है. So kids, see how are fold mountains formed? They are formed by lateral compression, which is they are formed by large scale movement caused by stress, and the stress is caused because of the weight of overlying rocks, because of the movement in mantle, and because of the expansion and contraction of some part of the earth. I'll repeat again. Fold mountains are formed by lateral compression. There is large scale movement happening. There is a large scale movement. Fold mountains are formed by large scale movement of Earth's crust by stress. Large scale movement of Earth's crust by stress. And stress is caused by weight of overlying rocks. It is caused by movement in mantle, and it is caused by expansion and contraction of some part of the earth. This stress will cause the compression. ये lateral compression, ये stress की वजह से क्या हो जाएगा? Lateral compression. And this lateral compression will lead to formation, will lead the rock to fold. It will cause the folding of the mountain. It will cause folding of the mountain. It will cause folding of the mountain. Now, there are a lot of fold mountain on our earth. Andes in South America, Rockies in North America, Alps in Europe, Zagros, Himalayas, Elburg, Kunlun in Asia. These all are Atlas in Africa. So, fold mountains will have wave-like formation. The upfold are called as anticline, and the downfold is called as syncline. Fold mountain will have snow-covered peaks. They will have snow-covered peaks. When the glaciers of the snow-covered peaks will melt, they will give rise to perennial river. They will give rise to perennial river. The upfold, again I am repeating, fold mountains will have wave-like formation. The upfold is called as anticline and the downfold is called as syncline. Anticline is also called as crust and syncline is also called as trough. They have snow-covered peaks and the melting of the glacier give rise to perennial rivers. Fold mountains will have more of the height and less of the width. Fold mountains are made up of sedimentary rocks. They are associated with volcanic activities. Fold mountains will occur as parallel ranges of mountain. They will be like this, parallel ranges of mountain. Between the two fold mountains, between the fold mountains you will see plateau called as intermountain plateau. Except for Himalayas. See the fold mountains, some fold mountains have north-south alignment. You look at this, let's say this is South America. Here we have, say North America, we have Rockies. Here we have Andes. So if you see Rockies and Andes, their alignment is north-south. Their alignment is north-south. So they have north-south alignment. Okay. But if you see Himalaya, Himalaya is like this. It has got east-west alignment. Himalayas has got east-west alignment. Himalayas alignment is east-west. Other mountains alignment is north-south. But one thing is clear, all of them face oceans. All of them face ocean, even and Himalayas on the other side faces ocean. But if you see Rockies, Andes, they are on the margins of the continent. Himalaya is not on the margin of the continent. Himalaya is one such exception which is not on the margin of the continent. So these are the characteristics of fold mountain. I'll give you example again, characteristics again. Fold mountains, they have wave-like formation. Upfold is called as anticline, downfold is called as syncline. They occur as parallel ranges of mountain. They have plateaus between them. Yes, called as intermountain plateau. They are made up of sedimentary rocks. They have more of the height and less of the width. They have snow-covered peaks whose melting glacier give rise to river, perennial river. Fold mountains are associated with volcanic activities. Fold mountains usually have north-south alignment. Only Himalaya is one such who has east-west alignment. Some of them are east-west, some of them are north-south. But Himalaya is one who is not on the margin of the continent, and it has got east-west alignment. Other mountains have got north-south alignment, but all of them faces ocean. Now fold mountain chain exists. Now fold mountains are present below the ocean also, beneath the ocean also, beneath the sea also. And some of the fold mountains which are below the sea, they are so high that their tops are coming out of the river. So out of the sea. They are emerging out of the sea. And those are, we call them as island. In fact, West Indies, in West Indies the islands are what? The islands in the West Indies are what? The top of the fold mountain which exists under the sea. Under the sea there are oceanic trenches, there are ridges. They are also formed by the same process which leads to formation of fold mountain. Same process. So oceanic trenches will be same process, but for ridge, this process which we discussed in fold mountain combined with volcanic mountain system will lead to formation of ridge. But when they ask trenches, formation of trenches and formation of fold mountain is same. Ridges is also same, but that they combine with volcanic mountain system. Mid-Atlantic ridge is one such example. Now we are going to talk about block mountain. Kids, learn all the examples very well because classification can come for exam. Block mountains are the mountains there is force operating under the surface of the earth called as faulting. F-A-U-L-T-I-N-G, faulting. It is also called as epiorogenic forces. So epiorogenic forces lead to formation of block mountain. Because of epiorogenic forces, earth के surface के नीचे faulting होता है. So what is faulting? So due to tensional forces, because of tensional forces, fault or cracks develop under the surface of the earth. I repeat again. Because of tensional forces, fault or cracks develop under the surface of the earth. Now when two parallel fault, can you see two parallel fault occur, what happened? The land in between them will subside. The land in between them will subside and will form a rift valley. When two parallel fault will take place, the land between the two parallel fault will subside and will lead to formation of rift valley. And if the block rises, it is called as block mountain, which is also called as horst mountain. Two block mountains are separated by rift valley, right? We also call it as graben. Two block mountains can be separated by rift valley or graben. Sometimes what happens, so basically block mountain or rift valley formation is same. The sand area is rift valley graben, the top part is called as block or horst. That is why they are also called as horst mountain. And these forces are epiorogenic forces which are caused due to tensional forces leading to formation of crack or fault. Which are the examples of block mountain? was just in Europe. Black Forest, sorry, it was just in France, of course, in Black Forest in Europe, Salt Range in Pakistan, Sierra Nevada in California. These are the examples of block mountains. Then next we are going to talk about is third type of mountain called as residual mountain, or they are also called as mountain of denudation. Residual mountain or mountain of denudation. So let me show you one thing. Let's say earlier there was a mountain. Alright. Now this mountain, some of the rocks of this mountain are less resistant. It means they are quite soft. Easily they get eroded. So those areas got eroded, and now they got eroded, and now only this much part which are strong and more resistant, they are left over. Which are strong and which are more resistant are left over. And these leftover rocks are called as residual mountains. They are called as residual mountains. They are also called as mountain of denudation. They are also called as mountain of denudation. So mountains which have gone through lot of weathering, lot of erosion for a very long period of time, their heights get lowered. Their heights get lowered down, and those lowered mountains are called as residual mountain. These mountains are caused because a natural agent like wind, water, glacier have eroded them. That is what has acted on them and has caused the lowering of this mountain. But not all areas got eroded. Why? Because some were more resistant. In fact, these mountains are formed on the plateaus that are dissected by rivers. They are formed by the plateaus which are dissected by rivers. There are plateaus, उधर भी बहुत बार ये बन जाते हैं, because there are some plateaus which are eroded by river. So some areas of the plateaus get eroded, and the leftover is called as residual mountain. Deccan Plateau. Now, there are some highland, they get eroded. The lower part is called as residual mountain. They are called as mountain of denudation because they are formed because of the action of agents. Their height, their steepness depend upon the rate of erosion. If they have been eroded more, their height will be less, their slope will be gentle. But if they are eroded, if they are eroded more, if they are eroded less, they will be high, they will be tall, they will be little steep. Nilgiri mountain in India, Rajmahal Hills in India, Parasnath Hills in India, Catskill Range in USA are examples of residual mountains. So these were the three different types of mountains. Now let us do plateau. Plateaus are areas of highland, usually 500 feet above the ground. They are usually 500 feet above the ground level. The top part of the plateau is called as tableland. The top part of the plateau is called as tableland. Usually plateaus will have one side steep and one side gentle. We are going to talk about two different types of plateaus. Intermontane plateaus and volcanic plateaus. Plateaus surrounded by hills and mountains on all the sides is called as intermontane plateau. Let's take example of the roof of the world. Yes, you are right. Tibet. Tibetan plateau is surrounded by Himalaya and Kunlun on all the sides. So it is one of the example of intermontane plateau. In fact, Anatolia plateau is surrounded by Pontic and Taurus mountain. It is also called as intermontane plateau. Then we have Colombian plateau, Peruvian plateau, Bolivian plateau, Mexican plateau. All these are surrounded by mountains and hills on all the sides. Second type of plateaus are volcanic plateau. They are the plateaus which are formed by various volcanic eruption which takes place, and and throw out molten material. When this molten material start getting piling up upon each other, and when they cool over the period of time, they will lead to formation of volcanic plateau. Deccan Plateau in India is the best example of volcanic plateau. Columbian Plateau again is a volcanic plateau also, and it was an intermontane plateau also. Ethiopian Plateau. So that is called as volcanic plateau. Plateau which is formed by cooling of the molten material thrown out, getting piled up upon each other, and when that cool, it lead to formation of volcanic plateau. Now we are going to talk about plains. Plains are vast lowland. They are vast lowland, extensive area of vast lowland which are either very level or gently undulating. There are three types of plains, but in this chapter we are going to talk only about two. Structural plains, depositional plains, and erosional plains. But we are going to talk only about structural and depositional. Structural plains are formed by diastrophic forces. You remember there were two types of diastrophic forces, orogenic, epiorogenic. So when there are some areas which are uplifted, certain areas get subside, because of which structural plains can be formed. So which forces are responsible for the formation of structural plains? Diastrophic forces. They cause upliftment or submergence. They cause either upliftment of certain portion or they cause submergence. Great Plain of USA was caused because of upliftment. Coromandel Coastal Plain was caused because of mild subsidence. Gulf Coast is also an example of coastal, which is also one of the examples of structural plains. Then there are plains called as depositional plains. They are the plains which are formed because of the material which has been deposited by various agents like wind, water, ocean, waves. Okay. So first is river deposition plains. When river flows, it carries silt in it. The river silt is called as alluvium. And when river deposits this alluvium or silt, it leads to formation of the plain called as river deposition plain, also called as alluvial plain. In India, the great northern plain of India, Gangetic plain in short, is example of river deposition plain. Mississippi plain in USA is also example of river deposition plains. In fact, they are very, very fertile and good for agriculture. If it is a new deposition, it is called as khadar. If it is an old deposition, it is called as bhangar. Most of the agriculture takes place in these areas only. Then there are some plains which are formed by the another agent, wind. When wind blows away a lot of sand and when the wind speed becomes less, they deposit that sand. They lead to formation of wind deposition plain. Thar Desert in India is the best example of wind deposition plains. Sometimes they will be very undulating surfaces. Lowest plain in China is the best example of it. Then we have marine deposition plains. They are the plains which are formed in the coastal region by the deposition brought by waves or tides. They are very common in Denmark, Netherlands, Germany. In fact, sometimes because of the marine deposition, certain areas, certain piece of land get reclaimed from sea, and that is called as polder. So these are the different type of plains formed by deposition activity. So kids, now let me tell you one thing. Why are the landforms, whether it is mountain, plateaus, plains, why are they important? Because of course they add beauty to the nature. Mountains today have such a beautiful climate. They are famous as hill stations. The slope of the mountains are covered with forest. They provide us with timber. Mountain Snow-covered mountain give rise to river because of perennial river. So many plateaus are rich sources of minerals. Mountains act as a climatic barrier. Mountains act as a climatic barrier. They help in influencing the rainfall. They block the wind and it forces them to cause rainfall. They are habitat to animals. In fact, so many minerals and fossil fuels are found in a lot of landforms. So landforms are very, very important. Thank you so much, kids.